Hey everybody, welcome back. Where today we're going to be adding another weird kind of video to the list of videos that I've ever made. And I'm sorry about that. If that puts you off, I apologize. I'm not going to stop. I really like making things. Don't you enjoy watching the things that I make? Anyway, this may not be known. This may not be very well known, but I am kind of a fan of power scaling. Not in a weird way. Like, I'm not going to, like, fight somebody if they don't think that, like, Superman can beat Goku in a fight or anything. But I'm a casual fan of power scaling. I think it's very fun to watch power scaling videos. I really enjoy people talking about, like, whether they think their favorite anime protagonist could solo, like, all of the bad guys in other anime. It's very fun to talk about it, especially because there's so much nuance in some of it, and, like, how you think the powers work, how strong you think people are. It's very interesting to hear, and I like hearing people yap about things sometimes. But I've been kind of, like, thinking about how I can make a similar kind of video that fits my niche of competitive Pokemon. The other day, I had an epiphany. The Pokédex. The Pokédex is written by scientists in the Pokemon universe, right? Like, surely everything they put in the Pokédex is 100% fact, right? It's like an encyclopedia. You can't put lies in the encyclopedia. Has anybody ever lied to you in the encyclopedia? No, I don't think so. So today, we're gonna take some Pokemon Pokédex entries and we are going to scale some Pokemon and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna find out how truly stupidly strong some Pokemon are, and I think that's just neat. Let's jump right into it. So first, we're gonna start with some speed scaling. Basically, travel speed. I don't have anything for combat speed here, but I do have something for travel speed, which I think is gonna be really fun. I found a Pokédex entry for Pidgeot that says that Pidgeot flies at Mach 2, and it makes it sound like it's pretty easy for Pidgeot to do that. So this is gonna be a low ball of the travel speed for Pidgeot, Mach 2, which is equal to about 1,500 miles per hour, which is very fast. There's one thing about doing this that's going to be very interesting, and that is Pokemon have base stats. And Pokemon base stats exist for every Pokemon, and it is like literally a physical number that says this Pokemon is this much faster or stronger or harder hitting or more defensive than this Pokemon. So if we use Pidgeot as a ruler, right, we can take Pidgeot's flying speed, Mach 2, twice the speed of sound, and we can divide that by Pidgeot's base speed, which is 101. That means that at one base speed, if there was a Pokemon that existed with one base speed, a Pokemon would be able to run 15 miles per hour. That is about how fast you or me run. Like, if you were running for your life, that is about how fast you would run. You gotta be like an athlete to run that fast. That is very fast. And that's how fast you would be if you had one base speed. Something like Shuckle with 5 base speed is able to run at 75 miles per hour, which is about how fast a cheetah can run. Shuckle is out here running faster than a cheetah. Some cheetah, you know, depending on how fit of a cheetah it is, I guess. Don't put anything weird on the screen when I talk about fit cheetahs, Andrew. Come on, don't do that. That means that Shuckle essentially runs as fast as a cheetah, which is the fastest land animal. It's not as fast as the fastest, like, sea animal, which I think is like a marlin. I don't know how fast they go, but I'm pretty sure they're faster than cheetahs. But that's actually kind of insane. It's a Shuckle. Before we move on, I have to teach you something that they use in power scaling. Usually when they talk about the attack potency of something, they compare it to tons of TNT or like things that you could destroy with that much TNT. So you could be like small building level, large building level, mountain level, etc., etc. So before we get into that, I just want to tell you that a ton of TNT contains about 4 billion joules of energy, or 4,185 joules of energy in 1 gram of TNT. That is a lot of energy, and it is very scary for me to think about how a nuclear bomb is usually measured in many tons of TNT. And 4 billion is already a number that I will never be able to, like, physically see. Imagine it being even more. That being said, there's like a very clear, like, list, a delineation, if you will, of power rankings in power scaling that it seems like everybody uses. I've heard everybody use these terms. Every website that I've found uses these same terms. Basically, you can range from, like, street level all the way up to, like, multi-universal level and everything in between. Don't worry, we're not going to get too far deep into it. I just needed to explain it to you before we get into the next couple of things here. Now, let's talk about special attack. There is a Pokédex entry that says the Magcargo is 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a lot. If you didn't know, the surface of the sun is only about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that Magcargo is almost twice as hot as the surface of the sun. Now, obviously, the middle of the sun is not 18,000 degrees, it's billions of degrees. But for all we know, the middle of Magcargo is too. I don't think anybody's ever cut up a Magcargo and seen how hot it is on the inside. Pause. Anyway, the problem that I had calculating this, and it was a very difficult calculation for me, I haven't taken physics since I dropped out of college several years ago, is that there is no substance on planet Earth that can be heated to 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit without completely evaporating. And I mean that literally. When a substance starts to boil, it will not get any hotter until it is completely evaporated. And obviously, Magcargo is not a gaseous Pokemon. Magcargo is some kind of liquid. So I had to make up a substance. I had to just say that whatever substance I was using was not going to boil before 18,000 degrees, and I decided to set it to have the same specific heat as a substance that is usually found around volcanoes. I went with quartz. Now, if you don't know what specific heat is how much energy in joules it takes to heat 1 kilogram of a substance 1 degrees Celsius. Now, I took my 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit and I transferred it into Celsius. I didn't write that number down. It's not in front of me. Maybe I put it on the screen if I remembered. And I took Magcargo's weight, which is 55 kilograms. I used the specific heat for quartz, which I also didn't write down. Maybe it's on the screen. And I found that it would take about 405,919,800 joules of energy to heat this mythical substance to 18,000 degrees. That is a lot of energy. That is a crazy amount of energy. It's not 1 ton of TNT though. It's actually, like, you know, Magcargo scales kind of low, I guess. Maybe it's not the best for scaling special attack, but it's the one that I found. That means that if you take that number and you divide it by Magcargo's base special attack, which is 80, you get that 1 base stat, 1 point in special attack, means that you can output 5,073,997.5 joules of energy, which is still a lot of energy. It's equivalent to about like 1.5 kilograms of TNT or 2 pounds of TNT, which is enough to kill you or me or a whole lot of other people. There are a whole lot of characters who could not stand on the sun, and Magcargo is essentially as hot as the surface of the sun, so do with that information as you will. What character does Magcargo outscale? But yeah, that's a lot. Our Shuckle with 10 base special attack probably can melt steel. I don't even know if Shuckle learns a fire type move. Hold on, let's see. Shuckle can you know, break steel, I guess. Unless you count Sunny Day, Shuckle does not learn. Oh yeah, any Pokemon can just summon the sun? We'll talk about that another time. That sounds like another video. If this one does good enough, I will do more. Don't worry. Any Pokemon can literally just summon the entire sun. That is a can of worms I am not ready to unpack right now. So yeah, there you go. The Shuckle, our mythical Shuckle that can run 75 miles per hour can also probably melt the face off of any person on planet Earth pretty easily. Next up, let's talk about defense. This might not be the best feat for defense, but it's the one that I found. It was the silliest one that I found, and that makes it the best one for me. Let's talk about Metang. Metang has a Pokedex entry that says that if a jet crashed into it, it would not have a scratch on it, and that is pretty impressive. I do not need to tell you how catastrophic a jet crash is. So I calculated how much energy a jet going full speed would have. Basically just multiplied the weight of a jet by how fast it was going. I was generous and said it was going like Mach 1. Jets can go Mach 1, that's fine. And basically Metang can tank 2,621,763,900 joules of physical damage straight to its face. That is very ridiculous. That's just a ridiculously large number. I don't know what to compare it to. Metang can survive like small building levels of damage, maybe like regular sized building levels of damage without getting a scratch on it. Metang's durability is pretty legit. Fun fact, did you know that Shelder and Metang have the same defense stat of 100, which means that Shelder can probably also survive a building exploding very easily, which is pretty silly. If you do the math and you divide the number for Metang's defense by its defense stat, you get that 26 million per base, which means that at 1 base defense, you would be able to tank 26 million joules of energy, which is you know, not as much as a ton of TNT, but it's pretty impressive. Our Shuckle, with its ridiculously high defense of 230, which is the highest defense stat of all Pokemon, I think. Shuckle can just casually survive a ton of TNT to the face. That's kind of insane. And now we get into the most ridiculous part of this video. Let's talk about Rhyhorn and the attack stat. Now, maybe this is not the largest feat in the Pokedex, but it is the largest one that I found in my very small amount of research. Like I said, for any of these things, if you think there is a faster, stronger, harder, more defensive thing that we could use in the Pokedex, let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'll, like I said, if this one does well, I'll make another Pokemon power scaling video. No problem. I will make only Pokemon power scaling videos forever, and will be the biggest Pokemon power scaling YouTube channel ever. And anyway, you can look at some Pokédex entries that are like Chestnut being able to flip a tank with just tackle, which is pretty interesting, but you know, it's just a tank. There's one for Hariyama that says that it can stop a train with just by slapping it, which is, you know, also pretty impressive. I did the math on it. It doesn't come close to Rhyhorn's feat. No, Rhyhorn apparently can shatter a skyscraper, according to the Pokedex, which is just an insane feat for a Rhyhorn, which is the little baby of its evolution line. Now, I didn't bother calculating how much a skyscraper weighed or like the durability of a skyscraper, because that would be silly. The list of things that you can compare things to in power scaling already has a large building level, and surely a skyscraper is a large building. So, essentially, Rhyhorn is large building level, which means that it can dish out the equivalent of somewhere between 2 and 10 tons of TNT. Let's highball Rhyhorn. Let's say it's 10 tons of TNT. That means that it can dish out 40 billion joules of energy. 40 billion joules of energy from Rhyhorn, a rhinoceros. That is an absolutely insane amount of energy. Like I said, that is enough to completely obliterate a skyscraper. So, if we take our 40 billion joules of energy, and we divide that by Rhyhorn's attack stat, which is only 85, we find that at one base attack, if there was a Pokemon with one base attack, that Pokemon could dish out the equivalent of 470,588,235 joules of energy, which puts any Pokemon with one base attack at small building level. Any Pokemon with one base attack can dish out more damage than my Cargo can with its 80 base special attack. That is a lot of energy. Attack scales very high in Pokemon. No wonder they gave us Incineroar to stop things, because dear God, we need it. So, if you take that number, right, and you multiply it by the attack stat of the highest Pokemon, the strongest attacking Pokemon, which is Mega Heracross, you get that Mega Heracross can destroy a city block with its attack stat. It scales to being able to destroy an entire city block, which, according to some estimates, is about how much energy like Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen can dish out in one attack. Mega Heracross is as strong as Gojo. Nah, I'd win. These are some stupid numbers. I really hope I can find even more stupid numbers in the future. If you want to see that, vote with your likes and your comments and your subscriptions. If I get a bunch of subscriptions and a bunch of likes and a bunch of comments on this video, obviously I'm going to make another one. You can't stop me. But with that, everybody, like I said, go ahead and leave a like and comment and subscribe, you freeloaders. My name is Andrew. I'll catch you guys next time. Once upon a time, man, I heard that I was struggling. Came from a gen where power creep wasn't coming in. Face long, stats tight, defense up, shack height. Sturdy on me, sash like, got the TM last night. Hit me with that good move, make the smile and act right. Bast boys, bout to hit that builder. I know that's right. Big Bast busting out these body presses, bout to buy a body bag and